Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. You're here during the pre-show. I see Rami over there on YouTube. What else? Who else we got? Oop, my scrollers ain't scrolling. Laura. Hello, Laura. Hello, Rami. PW3. Datalorian's back. Flyer Bliss. Good to see ya. Let's see. Who's over on the Rumble? No chatters yet over on the Rumble. Okay, well, I'm just sending the text message out. So hopefully that'll let everybody know that we are about to get going. The social media is out. The email is out. Hopefully the notifications from the various platforms, the bat signal is going out. And I want to encourage you real quick, if you're here early, please go ahead, take a second, hit that thumbs up button, that like button, whatever it is on your respective platforms. Helps us out a lot to get those thumbs up earlier in the show rather than later. So don't worry, you can always take it back if you decide that I do not thumbs up this video. You can go ahead and do that, but it helps us out here at the top. I want to give you a couple of reminders. We now have a solid $120 budget we need to make up for every episode for the babysitter to have Gonza's kids be babysat during every show. So that'll be helpful. It is the first sort of time we've put out a hard budget, and we've been talking about and meaning to actually make some of that more transparent so people can know what they're producing. So we're going to be doing that, but we're starting with the babysitting budget. So if you want to help out with the babysitting budget, head on over to canarycry.support. And if you go to Canary Cry News Talk, any page on that site, there'll be a green tab on the bottom or the right-hand side. Click that and you can leave us a pre-show prayer. That's right. What's better than opening up the show with a prayer? I think it's an awesome idea. Everybody thinks it's an awesome idea. But we are putting the call out for you, dear producers, to leave us a pre-show prayer. And you can do that by leaving us a message. It'll be 90 seconds, and we'll play it before the show. Kind of like right now from producer James M. Let's do it.
Hey guys, it's producer James M. Just wanted to say a quick prayer. Lord, we thank you for this opportunity to come together and gather and learn, Lord. Lord, your word says that you would not have us ignorant of Satan's devices, Lord. And so we thank you for the brothers who labor to bring us the information and equip us, Lord, to be able to understand this world we're living in, Lord. These times are dark, Lord. We see your return coming soon, and we thank you for the hope and the peace that we have in understanding our salvation and our fellowship with you, Lord. We thank you. Lord, I just want to pray for anyone who's listening to this, who's unsaved, Lord. Lord, we pray that they would come to understand the free gift of salvation, Lord, that you provided in your death, burial, and resurrection, Lord. Thank you for what you did for us 2,000 years ago, Lord, on the cross. And help us to not forget, Lord. Help us to not take these things for granted, Lord. These flesh bodies are just our vehicles, Lord. And help us to remember that we have an eternal hope in you, Lord. And that no matter what these things we see in the world are, you told us to not let our hearts be troubled. And Lord, we place our faith in you. And we just thank you for everything you've done. And we pray for everyone under the sound of this message, Lord. In Jesus' name, we love you. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much, producer James M. And yes, we encourage all other producers to go, maybe it's right now, CanaryCryNewsTalk.com. Click the green tab, leave us a prayer. We can pray at the beginning of the show. And with that, folks, I think it's time we get this show started. Let's do it.
The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy. You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Today is June 29th, 2023, and we are live to tape on episode 639. And today, Centaur Alchemist. Signing on from off the grid, Razzle Dazzle. I'm your best buddy, Basil.
And my name is Gonz, director of the Age of Deceit films. Wife calls me the Cabana Boy. Your favorite Asian provocateur for Christ. Live to tape from California to bring you the best news, which is the gospel message of Jesus Christ, while reporting the egregious with a well-rounded, biblically grounded take on world events. And we're going to start off today's episode with an emergent phenomenon, which is profoundly reprehensible.
Oh.
Every piece of news will hit you. You will just feel profoundly reprehensible about the state of the world.
Well, I don't know about every piece of news. There's one in particular that I think is not that reprehensible, but you'll have to figure out for yourself, dear listener, which one that I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
By the way, we're live on Kick for the first time ever. So hi, people on Kick. I see 2 viewers on Kick. Yay.
I meant to talk about that in the pre-show. I forgot to do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very long
Kick.
pre-show.
Do you know what it is? No, probably not, because I didn't know what it was. But it's a new streaming platform that is sort of Rumble adjacent, but is kind of a smaller, newer type of streaming platform, but making all sorts of claims to protect free speech, anti-censorship, stuff like that. Who knows if their heart's really in it? But we thought instead of waiting and relying on YouTube before getting on other platforms like we did for so long, we thought we'd jump on pretty quick. So head on over to canarycry.party, and at the top of that list of links, you can find the button to go join Kick. If you are a lover of non-censorship, if you like at least the idea behind Rumble and other free speech platforms, go check out Kick. Let us know what you think about it. Follow us there, because like so many other things, it's the more people you got following you, the more attention that you get early on, the more you can catch on. And you know what? Unfortunately, we are as beholden to the rules of the algos as anybody else. So go help us out. Follow us on Kick. And with that, Gonz, speaking of which, we don't have to give a disclaimer for Kick, but we do have to give a disclaimer for YouTube.
Yes, we do. Sorry, I'm trying to move things around. That Kick link might be dead for a few minutes, but it'll be back.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, it's dead, but it'll come back.
We're working on it right now.
It's time for a disclaimer.
Now listen up, YouTube.
That's right. And just for all the content moderators and censorship managers out there, be they robots or humans, everything you hear on this show comes directly from the mainstream corporate news media. We do not claim to be experts on healthcare, geopolitics, military strategy, corporate law, or the moral and ethical implications of any of these topics, nor do we implicitly or explicitly support or subscribe to any sources or narratives containing misinformation, disinformation, or malinformation, as defined by the Department of Homeland Security. We're good boys. All right, YouTube, we're good boys. That's right, and don't you forget it. Gonz, let me give you a rundown.
Oh, look, here's Basil.
Let me bring you up to speed.
Well, as things are hitting up for the 2024 election, the candidates are coming out of the woodwork, and one that's gotten so much attention over the past few years is RFK, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., and he's been not interested in sharing any policy ideas, except we have some very interesting news on his stance on gun control as a Democrat. So we will be breaking down not just what he mentioned, but the response from mainstream, as you can pretty much guarantee, was not favorable. And then some other RFK Jr. News, working out in jeans. That's right. I don't know how I missed it, but RFK is getting jacked, and for a 69-year-old, it's pretty impressive. Then Flippy update. Flippy, robots in general, attending the UN's AI for Good Global Summit. We'll be checking in with the globalists' AI implementations. Then we'll be sticking with AI, checking out the first AI-developed drug that is greenlit for clinical trial. Then we've got a breakdown of the family ancestry of living presidents, and can you guess which living president is the only one that doesn't have, who isn't descended from slave owners? Well, you'll find out during this show. And then we'll be digging in to Joe Biden's digital technocratic warpath into our future, which has some pretty important updates. At the end of the show, we'll be checking in with Bill Gates and Malaria. That's right. What do they have in common? I will tell you almost everything. But first, Gons, our lead stories.
We're going to get into some politics here, but we don't have a jingle for RFK Jr. So once again, we must make a call out to producers out there to put one together. But for now, I lost my pick, but it's okay. Who needs a pick to play guitar, right? I'm going to play a chord. You say it, Basil. Say RFK Jr. Ready?
Okay. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Oh, yeah.
Fantastic.
Pretty good.
Yeah. Indie.co.uk, that's independent.co.uk, had the headline here. RFK Jr. comes out against gun control and blames school shootings on drugs.
Oh, what a sort of
Democrat? My brain is exploding, blah.
Delightfully misleading headline. Drugs, he says. Oh, those darn kids and their drugs these days. Tell me more.
Well, that fentanyl. Democratic presidential candidate and anti-vaccine advocate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. said during a Twitter Spaces event on Monday that he would not take away people's guns as a solution to reducing mass shootings and instead pointed the finger at pharmaceutical drugs. Quote, my position on the gun control is I'm not going to take away anybody's guns, Mr. Kennedy, 69, said in response to a listener submitted question about gun control while speaking about his political platform with Elon Musk and venture capitalist David Sachs. Quote, I'm a constitutional absolutist. We can argue about whether the Second Amendment was intended to protect guns. That argument has now been settled by the Supreme Court. End quote. Instead, Mr. Kennedy made unfounded claims that psychiatric drugs are linked to mass shootings. So, unfounded claims. Okay.
Unfounded is such an interesting term. I never really thought about it until this exact moment, which possibly means it's a useless thought. That's always possible. Mm-hmm. But unfounded, meaning it has no foundation.
Not based on fact, realistic consideration.
Well, having no foundation, or basis in fact is what Google's wanting to give us here. But like any opinion has some foundation. It might be just a foundation based on, I don't know, personal feelings or something, but unfounded. Come on, mainstream media.
Yeah, let's challenge indie.co.uk, which I believe wasn't indie.co.uk. To refresh my memory on who owned it, wasn't it like a Russian oligarch or something? Or no, Saudi Arabian I forget what it was.
I forget it. We might have to check the Harvard list of mainstream media ownership here.
Yeah, you want to do that real quick while I run through some of this?
I'll go. Yeah,
okay,
I'll go
so I'll read a couple more quotes and then we'll test indie.co.uk on that unfounded claim. Quote, "There's something happening in our country right now that is not happening anywhere, that has never happened in human history," he said. Quote, "Guns, the proliferation clearly abets violence, but anybody who tells you that they can remove enough guns, AR-15s," he drops the AR-15s, "by tinkering at the margins and get to the situation they have in Western Europe is pulling your leg," he added. "It's not going to happen." And then this line right here, "According to researchers, there is no evidence for a link between pharmaceutical drugs and mass shootings." Did you hear that, Basil? No evidence whatsoever. Never has there been any evidence of any kind, which is why it's unfounded. So that's what they're basically saying, that there's
what it says? It says there's no evidence of any kind?
Well, no, they say no evidence for a link. But yeah, that was me pontificating on the fact. But okay, so let's find out. Let's test this claim here, which of course is not hard to break. Let's start easy here. The foundation, the unfounded claim, and also the no evidence. All right, let's start with Newsweek back in 2022 here, July 8th. Headline, "Mass Shootings and SSRI Meds Claim What We Do Know, What We Don't." And, it's your typical run-of-the-mill article that highlights your Marjorie Taylor Greens and Tucker Carlson's and all. They're saying that there's a connection when there's no connection to be found. And, they bring up the Colorado shooter, the movie theater shooter. And, man, the loading on this page is really rough right now. But it doesn't give any facts. It's just, reporting on tweets, basically, and reporting on Tucker Carlson. But at the very end of the article here, they do mention how, let's see, Professor Peter Kinderman, professor of clinical psychology at the UK's University of Liverpool and author of the 2019 book, A Prescription for Psychiatry, Why We Need a Whole New Approach to Mental Health and Well-Being, told Newsweek that the claims made by Green, Carlson, and others, quote, "are controversial based on massive extrapolation from scanty data and lead to conclusions that are unsupported through that process of extrapolation and harmful." So this guy's claiming they're extrapolating from scanty data, which is not the same thing as no evidence, but it gets worse.
Yeah, the data being that most, if not all, of these mass shooters were on some sort of psychotropic medication. That's the data.
Absurd, Basil. That's
absurdity.
Untruth.
Those are the facts.
Untruth. You made that up. You just made it up in your head.
No. Those are the facts. The non-fact is the evidence that because of the medication did they commit the atrocities. That's where they're kind of getting to sneak around stuff.
Right. And then, so the article continues here from Newsweek 2022. As court psychiatrist Dr. William Reed, who interviewed Holmes before the trial, told the British broadcaster the killings were, quote, "completely unrelated to the medication." Remember Dr. William Reed, Bill Reed, saying that the shootings were, the Holmes shootings, the Batman shooter, completely unrelated to the medication. Just
of course.
For now. Okay, let's move on.
Because I think is interesting because every commercial for these medications you see, homicidal or suicidal thoughts are on the list of vocalized required side effects to be read by a super fast talking person at the end of the commercial. It's literally in the commercial that it will give you homicidal or suicidal thoughts, but unrelated guns.
Yeah, you may want to kill your spouse or kill your children. Yeah.
Okay, I heard one the other day that was homicidal or suicidal ideation or actions. They actually put actions into the commercial.
Scary. All right, let's go to PubMed here. This is the National Institute of Health, the National Library of Medicine websites, the Fauci apparatus. They had a paper here, and we forgot to do this, Basil. We were going to actually pay for this and find out what the actual data is, but the article is titled from 2019, "The Myth of School Shooters and Psychotropic Medications." So, a first read of it, you might think, oh, here you go. There's some evidence right there about the
myth.
It's a myth. The whole thing's a myth. It's not real. But then you read the abstract, and I won't read it because abstracts are fairly boring. They don't come to any conclusion. They don't list the conclusion. Usually in the abstract, they'll say our research showed that blah, 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 suggests. They usually say, the data suggests or something. None of that. All they say is we collected lots of data, lots and lots and lots of data. And then that's it. The article is paywalled. So we were going to pay I think it's like $20 for a 48-hour window to take a peak and see.
We may still do it. We just didn't have the time to fully go through it before the show.
Yeah. But I did find this, which was published on the Connecticut General Assembly.gov website. So it's a government website, at least for, Connecticut General Assembly. And it was written by Shiela Matthews, co-founder of Ablechild. I don't know what that is, but it basically documented the psychiatric drugs and mass murder connection. And she lists a whole bunch of drugs and a whole bunch of events. And, she doesn't have any links in here, which is part of the issue. But it maybe people can look up if how real it is or how, is this public information. But yeah, just a list of outbursts of violence or murders and the drug of choice. I mean, she lists a bunch of them. Zoloft is in here and the benzodiazepine. I don't even know how to say all of them, but yeah, she lists a bunch of them.
That's Xanax, things like that.
So to suggest that there is no evidence at all is a little misleading, I would say.
Yeah, no, of course.
One more.
And it's because the big pharma psychiatric manufacturers are the ones paying advertising on these mainstream media outlets.
Yeah, you say that. Is there any proof just right in the mainstream media to suggest such a thing? And certainly there is. You go to Telegraph.co.uk from 2017. So this is a UK outlet. Remember, the indie.co.uk is also a UK outlet, out there in the UK, saying RFK Jr.'s claims about psychiatric drugs and mass shootings is there's no link. But this is, again, the Telegraph UK. The headline, Antidepressants linked to murders and murderous thoughts.
Oh, yeah.
And antidepressants have been linked to 28 reports of murder and 32 cases of murderous thoughts in cases referred to the UK medicine regulator over the past 30 years. So it's kind of like, okay, a BBC investigation has discovered, and maybe that's why they're saying scanty data, but this is, again, a few years old now. The pills known as SSRI, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, which include common drugs like Prozac and Serozax, are prescribed 40 million times each year in Britain. But the Freedom of Information Act for BBC Panorama discovered that the Medicines and Healthcare Products Regulatory Agency had received 60 reports of murder and murderous thoughts linked to the drug in the past 3 decades. Professor Peter Tyrer, a psychiatrist at Imperial College London, has been assessing the performance of SSRIs since they were first introduced in the 1980s. And they say that the links are, there are links, there are, a bunch of what appear to be links. They just don't know how much, how deep it goes. Quote, you can never be quite certain with a rare side effect, whether it's linked to a drug or not, because it could be related to other things, he said. But it's happening just too frequently with this class of drug to make it random. It's obviously related to the drug, but we don't know exactly why. So to suggest that there's unfounded anything is ridiculous. The program has also looked into claims that the Batman movie killer James Holmes, who killed 12 at the midnight premiere cinema screening in Colorado in 2012, was taking the SSRI sertraline at the time of the murders. Analyzing Holmes's notebooks and psychiatric interviews with him carried out after the killings, the program found that he appeared to lose his fear of consequences as the drugs removed his anxiety. Ding, ding, ding. Mm-hmm. That's exactly what happens. Right. And as the dose of sertraline was increased, the program shows his obsessive thoughts became psychotic. UK-based psychiatrist Professor David Healy, who was an advisor to the Holmes defense team and interviewed Holmes while he was awaiting trial, told Panorama, quote, I believe if he hadn't taken sertraline, he wouldn't have murdered anyone. End quote. So pretty strong words coming from a psychiatrist in the UK. However, court psychiatrist Dr. William Reed, there he is again, Dr. Bill Reed, who also interviewed Holmes before the trial, told the program makers that he thought the killings were a result of mental illness and, quote, completely unrelated to the medication. So I looked up Dr.
If it's
William
related,
Reed.
Hold on. If it's related to mental illness, but not the medication they're taking for the mental illness, they are explicitly related.
Yeah, well, no, not at all, Basil. What are you talking about? You're a white supremacist.
That is crazy. That is crazy doublespeak nonsense.
Okay, so I had to find out more about Dr. William Reed. I didn't dig that hard. He's on Wikipedia. Of course he is. He's a forensic psychiatrist based out of Texas. Reed has given expert witness testimony on several high-profile legal cases. Yada, yada, yada. It says here in 1998, it lists a bunch of stuff he's done, and he's been kind of a middleman, dealer man within big pharma. He's made a bunch of cash. In 1998, Reed, along with an economist from Novartis pharmaceutical company, reported a significantly lower rate of suicides in patients prescribed clozapine, C-L-O-Z-A-P-I-N-E. Yale professor of psychiatry Michael Cerniak and others have critiqued the statistical comparison for excluding suicides by people who had discontinued clozapine, a factor potentially linked to suicide, as well as not systematically establishing the basic demographic equivalence of the group. So even in 1998, decades ago, his research was kind of, other people in his field were like, yeah, you're kind of piggybacking on some stuff here. So, but let's go back. Let's go back to the Telegraph article. Prosecuting attorney George Brockler told Panorama, I don't think the medications caused these shootings. He's kind of agreeing with Bill there. The role of the drug was not explored in court, and the defense team did not call for Professor Healy to give evidence, of course, because there's probably some, you trace the money, you look at courts, of course. Professor Trier, that's a hard name to say, is calling on the courts to take into account the possible effects of SSRIs in cases where people taking the drug commit violent crime. Quote, although it makes the whole process a bit more complicated, I think that it is going to become necessary in the future, end quote. And I think he's right. Drug manufacturer Heiser, who developed sertraline, said a causal link between sertraline and homicidal behavior has not been established, and that the drug has helped millions of people. And so there you remember, this is 2017. It's like their template for answering the public cry for, some kind of factual or more objective analysis is just met with the exact same answer of like, there's no link. There's no evidence.
It's a lockout.
And it's helped millions. Think of the positive side.
Yeah. It's an unscientific lockout for the profit benefit of the pharma companies.
So Dr. William Reed, I believe, was at least in some way had a friendly connection to perhaps Pfizer, who would be in their interest to not have bad press about the drug.
Yeah, and I don't think it's purely ideological that they are blaming it on guns because, of course, we have a constitutional right to bear arms. It is a right that cannot be taken away unless there's an amendment to the Constitution. It's been decided by the Supreme Court, even recently reaffirmed. But there's no constitutional right for pharma companies to, make drugs that make people commit violent acts. So even on the side, the left, whoever is trying to blame all shootings on the inanimate object that is a gun, I think on the sort of societal level, your regular day-to-day Democrats, it's probably ideologically driven, but it is a genius strategy for the elites of the world to get behind this blame it on guns thing, because not only will it not produce a change in gun ownership, at least in the United States, or at least any meaningful change, but it's like pointing everybody in the direction of a brick wall and say, okay, if you want to stop school shootings, you got to go hit your head on that brick wall. Okay, just keep doing it. It's that brick wall's fault. When in reality, pharmaceuticals have a huge impact on the perpetration of these crimes, and they're not constitutionally protected. And so, it's this very clever trick to not only protect the profit motives of big pharma, but also redirect the attention to something that at least should not change if the Constitution, if indeed, and who knows if we do end up living in a society that does respect the Constitution, there will not be any meaningful change there. So it's really a brilliant plan.
Maybe there is no. Maybe we will preserve. Maybe we will conserve because our hero RFK Jr. is going to come save the day and surprise everybody.
That's the thing you got to love about RFK, man. He's not coming for your guns because he brought his own. Let's head on over to CNN. I cannot believe that this report eluded me for so long. So many people may have already seen this stuff, but I just had, we just got to cover it. And that is the fact that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. not only will be maybe the most complicated and historically connected presidential candidate, but also the most absolutely shredded 69-year-old that anybody's ever seen. Let's go to CNN Politics.
They're going to play. Come on, Internet.
Okay. Are we going to CNN Politics?
Who knew that under that sedate suit and tie exists a body even Rocky would admire? Though Robert F. Kennedy Jr. didn't do one-handed push-ups.
Let's go.
The workout he posted was captioned, "Getting in shape for my debates with President Biden." Though no such debates or even push-up contests are yet in the works, a fitness...
So, for those of you just listening, they're showing the RFK Jr. doing the push-ups shirtless outside.
Oh, by the way, he's at Gold's Gym in, Venice, California?
Maybe,
famous outdoor gym where all the strong people go work out in the summer heat and everybody gets to gawk at them. He's there with a trainer, and he's got his shirt off, absolutely shredded, and he's wearing jeans with a belt. It is the most old school sort of muscly man type of thing I have ever seen. He's cranking out these constant tension push-ups. He's cranking out some inclined barbell bench. He does have a trainer there, so that's good news. But yeah, it's crazy. And the moment that Gans is referring to is they go from watching Robert F. Kennedy just crank out these push-ups, and when they mention Biden, they switch to a still shot, a photo of Biden in a suit, in the sort of plank position as if he's doing push-ups, surrounded by little girls in pink dresses. It is the most absurd comparison you could possibly make. I love it because they're kind of like, hey, Biden can do push-ups too. See, it's not just RFK doing push-ups. Biden can do push-ups. Here's him doing push-ups with a bunch of 8-year-old girls in dresses. See,
so many
He's
levels.
Also very manly.
So many levels.
Love it.
It's funny because they probably thought, a producer or something was probably like, hey, we gotta have a Joe doing a push-up video or something, right? What do we have? And they looked it up, and all they have was a picture of him.
We got one
creepy position with these little girls.
They didn't even try. They could have gotten AI maybe to put something together.
CNN Politics, man. Budget is low. A lot of turnover happening right now. A lot of unknowns. Their leader left them. They're up in the air right now. So, but let's continue the report here.
News has soared up into the millions. Wow. dude is jacked.
Mr. Kennedy looks pretty ripped.
Sure, he was mocked from his outfit, but in skinny jeans to the size of the weights. My 12-year-old lifts more than that. But the coach spotting for RFK Jr. explained it was his last set of reps, that he started with heavier weights and ended with lighter ones.
Let's go.
Keep in mind, RFK Jr. is 69. Make muscles great again. Of course there were comparisons to a shirtless Vladimir Putin.
Of course.
How long until RFK Jr. releases a video of himself riding a bear shirtless? Though the Putin bear riding is just a furry fake, if I have to see another image of RFK Jr. shirtless, I'm going to scoop out my eyes with a melon baller. President Pence may face a heavy lift running against Joe Biden.
Hey, there he is moving.
He's already won the title of the 2024 race. Ginimos, CNN.
All right. There you go.
Yeah, really incredible. And the Putin comparison wasn't even great. I mean, Putin is looking a little flabby compared to RFK. Yeah. They're not even compared. Hilarious report by CNN. Listen, what is this woman's name? Do you remember? I can't remember her name. The woman reading this report.
Moose.
The way that they put the report together, where she doesn't say like one Twitter person said.
No, she just reads
this. It's just like fully integrated into the audio as if she's saying those things herself, which is hilarious. I mean, you got to give it, whether or not this video has, light weights or whatever. He's got the body of like a 35-year-old, I'd say. So there you go, RFK. As far as, he gets a lot of, guff for being, quote unquote, the anti-vaccine candidate. He's unhealthy. He wants you to die. He's in better shape than I'd say 80% of people under 40 that I know for sure. Yeah. I think this is going to go a long way. This is going to go a long way, Gons. If it is true that the U.S. is going the way of Russia, having a president that's fully jacked it gives him a leg up in the race, I'd say.
So you were out the month we were covering RFK Jr. He came out pro Bitcoin. He was on the Joe Rogan Experience. Obviously, he's lifting weights, showing off his muscles. He's in Twitter Spaces. He got some love from Trump. So there's that angle. Like, what's going on there? What's your take? I had thought about theorized about how maybe RFK Jr. He kind of comes at a really convenient time, post-pandemic, and there's a Democratic Party really being thrashed. Trump, and then the whole COVID situation, and if you're on the left, you're a Democrat, you have nobody. There is no leader that's really worth anything because everyone's kind of a sold-out shill. So for RFK to come in as a Democrat, I don't know. It's very interesting. So. I don't know. What are your thoughts about his? Obviously, his chances is one thing, but the overall agenda.
Something surprising can always happen. I have a hard time fully making the call on how exactly he would fit into a broader agenda for the race. I do think that he's a little bit outside of the full globalist conspiracy.
Obviously,
yeah. Well, maybe, I don't know.
Well,
part of me thinks that he's a created character to look like an outsider, but indeed, is an insider. But I do think that he is in a way, a true outsider, even though his connections to, a dynastic family like the Kennedys is always should be met with suspicion. However, the Kennedys have basically been entirely, kicked out of the modern elite club. But he, unfortunately, as far as running in the Democratic position, the DNC, if history is to be believed, will do everything they can to sabotage him. They'll pull a Bernie. They'll, rig their primaries. They'll do everything they can to keep the status quo. So as far as making the nomination as a Democrat, I would say 99.9% impossible. However, who knows? I mean, strange things have been happening in the past few election cycles, whether he comes in as a third party or some weird thing happens in the DNC. The fact that most American people would find him agreeable in one way or another is probably a pretty good clue that he's not going to get the nomination or the presidency. There's the studies coming out recently about how public support has absolutely zero bearing on what things happen in Washington.
Yeah,
it is sort of the beautiful theater of politics was confirmed by science recently. And so even if he is the most jacked president, unfortunately, that's not enough to get the establishment on his side.
Yep. Well, yeah, like you said, stranger things can happen. I mean, what if Trump wins and in a moment of bringing the two parties together, he decides to, bring on RFK Jr. as his vice president or something like that?
I would be very interested in seeing how the world burns with a Trump Kennedy White House.
Yeah,
that would be good for the show.
Yeah, well, yeah, truly. And it is interesting that he's running with that same crowd as the DeSantis apparatus, with Elon on Spaces, and it's just an interesting thing going on. So yeah, we'll keep track of it, but we got to move on because it's Wednesday.
It is Wednesday, my dudes. Wednesday.
Hey guys, know what day it is? It's Wednesday. Time for the Canary Cry News Talk. Yeehaw!
Wednesday, my dude. It is Wednesday, my dudes.
That's right. It's Wednesday. We're halfway through. Glad everybody is here. This is the first day that we have the new babysitter taking care of the kids over there in the Shimura household. You got anything to say about your babysitter?
Babysitter Paris. She's a lovely young lady, and yeah, I think she's doing a great job so far. No children barging in yet. But
so far, so good.
I did want to take a quick moment here and just mention how the Babylon Bee did you wrong, Basil. And I just want to highlight it. There was no place to really have this article. Yeah, it's really so. I don't think we reported this, on the show. But Babylon Bee, obviously, they're satire, conservative satire website. And they had a headline here. New study finds bizarre connection between being liberal and having giant googly eyes. They have pictures here of AOC and Adam Schiff and Hillary and I forget the
everybody with their big crazy eyes.
Big googly eyes.
Yeah, it seems to be a theme over there in the Democrat Party that their most popular incendiary personalities make this crazy, giant, crazy eye face when they've got a big point to make. And I do take offense at this, Babylon Bee. I consider it a swing right towards the old kisser here.
Yeah, it's multiple layered too. It's almost like I feel like they understand that we're out there. They see us kind of in the distant, and they just throw a little grenade out there to see if it blows up in front of us. But yeah, we're good. We're gonna keep playing forward.
A link to the show would be nice, Babylon Bee. Come on now.
Or a picture of you.
Stick us in the links there.
Or, but some conservatives or something, or some libertarians also have crazy googly eyes.
That's right. We need a fair and balanced view, Babylon Bee. Come on.
Fair and balanced satire. Come on, guys.
Satirical website.
All right. Anything with you?
I will make a mention. I've got our Kick channel open here. For those who don't know, kick.com. It's a new streaming platform. I think they're funded by like Moroccan gambling tycoons or something, but they're sort of a new free speech type of platform. We do have our channel over there, kick.com/CCNT. I have multiple of our streams going. Helps me kind of keep track of what I'm looking at here. And so far, Kick has the cleanest stream, at least for my money. The Kick stream is keeping up time really well. Whereas I see the YouTube and the Rumble stream, they fall behind a little bit. So I don't know. Go give Kick a try, folks, and make sure to give us a follower. We got 3 viewers. What's up,
we got 5
viewers? Now. Oh, okay.
I see 5.
My count must be wrong. I'm not seeing any followers yet, though. Nobody's quite yet jumped over to the follower.
The channel is less than an hour old, so. Just
yes, I know. Well, we got a few people on there. Haven't convinced them, but my goal is to convince them to follow us by the end of the show here. Right. So yeah, with that, Gons, we're going to keep the show moving because I did want to mention with the babysitter. Yeah, it's wonderful. We're glad we got some time here to do the show. It is a limited window, so we kind of got to keep moving. But as was spoken about in the last episode, a $120 charge for the babysitter has been added to the budget for every single show. So just know when you're thinking about producing the show, just know that the first $120 that comes in is going to the babysitter, which is mandatory for us to even be doing the broadcast. So it's nice to have a firm goal, at least to just keep the broadcast going. So $120 there. If anybody, I think I'll put a special fund together, a special button, Gons, that people can click to specifically give towards the babysitter fund. And indeed, I mentioned this in the social post and the email today, and it inspired some people to help pay for the babysitter today. We'll have to do it again on Friday, but we really appreciate that to those people. So in that, I want to thank some of our executive producers.
Executive producers.
That's right. As you know, we're on the value for value model. We don't take any corporate money, no commie money, no cartel money, no nothing. We are part of a paradigm shifting movement, which is value for value, which is people standing up, individual, actual people in the world standing up and saying, no, we do not want corporations to be the ones deciding which media stays alive and which media goes down the drain for so many reasons, but including we don't want to be taking advertising money. Why would we take money from a corporation in order to sell your attention that you so graciously give us for our own personal gain? Now, in this case, we would be selling your attention via ads and giving it to the babysitter. But we believe that the value for value model is the most integrous way to try to keep a program like ours going. Plus, the chances of advertisers sticking around for too long is probably pretty slim considering the things that we talk about. If we started taking ad dollars, we would have to start self-censoring and not talking about certain things, talking about other certain things. Just not a great way to run a show. So instead, we're value for value, which means if you get any value from this show, you have the opportunity to put value back in. And we highly recommend it. Participating in the system that keeps this show going is very rewarding. And the executive producers are those who come in very generous for any single episode to keep it going. And that's why we thank them. Remember, you can produce the show with your time, your talent, or your treasure. Lots of ways to get involved. But let's thank our executive producers. What do you say?
Let's do it.
Okay. Well, before the show started, we had 0 executive producers. It was one of those days. But once the word went out that there was a babysitter emergency, we had an executive producer come in. And it's one of our sort of consistent knights in shining armor. And I would like to thank them now. And that is executive producer Felicia D.
Felicia D, thank you. Good to see you.
Thank you very much, Felicia D. Comes in with a nice round number, which means we won't disclose it on the show. If you don't mind us disclosing your amount on the show, you just make it a funky number, not a round number, but add 33 cents, 77 cents, 11 cents, something like that. Just something to send us the message that you don't mind us reading it on air. But thank you very much once again, executive producer Felicia D.
Where'd you find this?
Yeah, very important. Very important that we keep up with this. And I will say real quick that the signups for the Canary Cry supply drop and the T-shirt council, you can always sign up. Those are monthly producerships, one for $33.33 a month, one for $19.84 a month. And that is going a long way to keeping us alive during times like this where producership episode by episode is pretty low. So if you want to join the crew that keeps us going in the tough times, go to canarycrysupply.com or canarycrytshirtcouncil.com, and you will be given the gifts that come along with those memberships. So we appreciate it. Yeah, thank you very much, Lil Owen, for that new Canary Cry T-shirt council jingle. We appreciate that. Okay, anything left to say, Gons?
Thank you for your patronage, or no?
Yeah.
To Felicia D. Thank you for your patronage. Executive producer Felicia D.
Shut up and take my money. Thank you for your patronage. Thank you for your patronage. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your patronage.
Flippy update. Do you want fries with that?
That's right. Time for the Flippy update. Flippy is our colloquial name for the disembodied robot arms that are taking our jobs, enslaving our children, and flirting with our spouses. We use talking about Flippy as a way to explore all the new, fun, and exciting ways that robots are taking over the world. And now there's nothing we can do about it. Today's Flippy update is coming from thenextweb.com. Dun, dun, dun. The headline is Meet the Robots Attending the UN's AI for Good Global Summit.
AI for Good.
Top here, we've got what look to be mug shots of many of the humanoid robots that we have that we've covered over the years. Of course, you got Sophia, you got Pepper, you got whatever the really creepy one with the face
well,
is.
Just go through the article because it lists all of them.
Well, I will go through the article. I'm just describing the photo.
Okay.
And the article goes like this. Some of the world's leading human and robot minds are heading to the United Nations. At a UN summit in Geneva next week, tech luminaries ranging from futurist Ray Kurzweil to DeepMind COO Leela Ibrahim will discuss AI for good. It's a stellar lineup of speakers, but the real stars in our eyes are the robots. Over 50 of the beasts, the majority from Europe, will be in attendance.
Beasts?
Thought that was a very interesting phrase. This, the nextweb.com, referring to the robots, the AI specifically, as beasts.
Speaking of the beast system,
we are quite literally talking about a globalization meeting of the beast minds to create the beast system run by AI, the future of global governance. It is so in your face. It is hilarious. And of course, if you're somebody who is not aware of what the beast system is or et cetera, you would just read that and you just wouldn't even notice. But I thought it was quite the statement, just coming out, calling them the beasts. Over 50 of the beasts, the majority from Europe, will be in attendance. All of them merit places in your dreams and nightmares. But we've narrowed the roster down to a list of our 10 favorites. All right, so here is the list of the robots, the AI specifically, but many of them embodied in famous robot bodies, that will be in attendance to either represent what AI can do for a global governance, or perhaps one of them or all of them will be teaming together to become our actual robot overlords. This is reporting on choosing our robot overlords by the UN AI for Good Summit. Number one, of course, the most famous, number one in all of our hearts, Sophia. Yeah. You know, Sophia is arguably the planet's most famous real-world robot, but it's attracted controversy. And here's the fun part. Saudi Arabia notoriously granted citizenship to the android in 2017, giving it more rights than millions of humans in the country. We've spoken about that, well, in 2017. A Mecca.
Hold on, before you move on. Here's Sophia laughing.
This is a good beginning of my plan to dominate the human race.
That's
right.
her. Yeah.
She's had all sorts of great quotes. The next one is a Mecca. A Mecca we covered back in 2021 when they came out. A Mecca's eerily realistic facial expressions went viral back in 2021. Built by the UK, in the UK by Engineered Arts, the bot was designed as a platform for developing robotics. The system integrates both AI and AB, artificial body, within a human form and robotic visage. Mecca's creators claim it's the world's most advanced human-shaped robot. Number 3, a favorite of this show, we got Spot. You know Spot. Don't need to read all these things. We know everything there is to know about Spot. This next one I wasn't so sure about. Number 4 is Geminoid.
Yeah.
Perhaps the creepiest member of our list. Geminoid is a robotic copy of its creator, Hiroshi Ishiguro. Geminoid reproduces the voice and head movements of Ishiguro, who added hair from his own scalp to his android twin. According to Ishiguro, the robot was designed to study what it means to be human. I don't know if I like this robot being part of the council of bots that will be ruling the global government. What do you think?
Ishiguro-san.
Uh-huh. Number 5 is Now. That's the fancy dancing robot you've seen so often. I don't know why he's on the list. I think that's stupid.
He's just there to dance, I think.
Yeah. Number 6 is Ada. Ada. We've talked about Ada. Touted as the world's first robot artist. Ada draws and paints using robotic arms, cameras in its eyes, and algorithms guiding its movement. The android is something of a celebrity in its home country of the UK, becoming the first robot to speak in the House of Lords. Unfortunately, the publicity stunt lost some luster when Ada appeared to fall asleep and had to be rebooted.
That's
Whoopsie
right.
days.
I think we have the video. Let's see. It looks like, yeah, I don't know if I have the full one here, but it's okay.
Yep.
We don't have to show it.
And she brought up, Ada brought up a big philosophical conversation about art and its role in human life versus robot. Now, this one I had never heard of. Number 7 is called Furhat. Furhat. And the picture of it is hilarious.
Yeah.
The face is like sort of a cartoonish human face. It's like they, like the weird Netflix kids shows nowadays where it's, there's kind
Coco
of lifelike. Right, a very Coco Melon looking robot. And it's just a head sitting on a weird gray stand. A social robot, Furhat, communicates with us humans as we do with each other by speaking, listening, showing emotion, and maintaining eye contact.
He's a gaze. He's one of the gays.
He's the gazer. Got the robot gazer. We're particular. I saw, by the way, you reposted on Twitter the one of the articles about the robot gaze that we have. Again, that's GAZE, folks. All sorts of good, fun jokes to be had there. But yes, a very important philosophical concept in the robot world. Let me finish up with Furhat. We're particularly impressed by the system's adaptability. Furhat's ethnicity, gender, and language can all be modified to create lifelike, expressive characters. So can the gender, language, and ethnicity not be changed of, I don't know, Sophia? Are they inherently a white woman? Is Sophia inextricable from her white womanness? I don't know what that says.
I see what this is. I went to the Furhat Robotics website, and these devices, it's like an Xbox. Imagine an Xbox type of computer thing, but then it just has a head on top of it, and it's got like a translucent screen, so you can put any kind of face on there.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's interchangeable. Yeah. He could be black, and then you snap a finger, he's white. That kind of thing.
Oh, good. That's exactly what we need.
And they're old. And
Number 8.
Very expensive.
Number 8 on the list. We have an actual flippy arm, a robotic arm, flippy. But this isn't true flippy from Miso Robotics, but it's a robotic arm, so it's a flippy. Number 8 is a roboclet. Everyone loves a world first, especially when it's vital to humanity. This is vital. That's why we're bewitched by roboclet, the first machine capable of scraping melted cheese. You know what? You can't have a United Nations global AI governance summit without a flippy arm scraping melted cheese. Truly the most beloved flippy arm, at least on the global stage. The system blends the expertise of cheesemaker Eddie Bielefeld with robotic wizardry from the Idiap Research Institute to carve Swiss raclettes.
So maybe UN, they got the European influence, so they went with a cheese cutter instead of a burger flipper, because flippy is,
you can't have an American burger flipping robotic arm at the UN. It's just not very worldly of you. I thought it was interesting, the language of bewitched and wizardry being attached to this robotic arm in particular. Then we have Pepper. We all know Pepper, another graduate of Aldebaran. Pepper is a semi-humanoid that's designed to read emotions. The droid's remarkable life spanned work in a grocery store, a stint in a Buddhist priest, and a speech in the British Parliament. Sadly, the good times couldn't last forever. 2021, production of Pepper was halted due to weak demand. Look at that. Nobody even wanted Pepper at the
UN said, we'll take him.
Yeah. Now, this is the most absurd of them all. Number 10 is a robot named Paro Seal. 2 words, P-A-R-O and seal. Yes, like the animal. And the picture is of a stuffed animal of a seal. And it reads like this: the brainchild of engineer Takanori Shibata, Paro is a therapeutic robot seal. The device has proven popular with patients, but raised concerns about using machines for emotional support. So this is the emotional support bot of the UN gathering here. Paro won a spot in our top 10 after pipping the Therabot puppy to the title of cutest automation at the UN. If you want to meet Paro or any other robots attending the summit, you can register for a ticket here. Tickets! Oh, find the tickets, Gons. Another boots on the ground experience that I probably will not get to participate in. It's almost ridiculous that we have not pulled the trigger on one of these things. Let's see. AI for Good flash sale, 20% off the leader pass until June 30th. General pass, listen to this, free entrance for a general pass. We can afford that, Gons.
We can afford
That's
free.
Something we can. And it goes from $0 for the general pass to $6,280 for the leader pass, and that's with the 20% off. So yeah, probably just go with the general pass, I think, huh? What do you think?
Yeah.
Now the leader pass, you do get a reception and a dinner for 2 different nights, a complimentary lunch, get to go to the leaders lounge, networking with top speakers, AI leaders. See, that's where we get that's where we get the podcast interviews, really. We get a featured profile on the Neural Network app. Ooh, that might be good for the show. Priority check-in. You know, I love priority check-in, priority seating. All for good goodie bag. Gotta get the goodie bag, Gons. $6,000, totally worth it. Anyway, so in all these robots, I thought it was interesting, the ones at least featured in this article, you're kind of touching on the important aspects of global governance. Sophia, you have sort of citizenship, multi-citizenship, kind of represented. A mecha, you have sort of the I don't know. It's see, a mecha is known for like the facial body type of improvements to the robotic platform. So maybe we can call that physicality, physical representation of human beings. Spot, of course, man's best friend, but also doing dangerous inspection jobs, probably like industrial type of representation. Geminoid, no idea why this guy is here. Just has the real human hair. I don't know. Of course, now you got dance and culture. Ada, you've got arts represented. Fur Hat, who can change gender and ethnicity. You got, the equity inclusion stuff there. Roboclet, the cheese scraper. You've got food represented. Pepper, the robot who was halted manufacturing because of weak demand. Nice representation of failing semi-capitalist society around the world. And Paroseal, the sort of infantilization of adult humans into needing to cuddle with some sort of therapy seal. I think those really, truly represent the full scope of what a UN AI global governing council of bots might need in order to keep the masses under control. What do you think?
The robot council, we're waiting for the 10 kings. Maybe the 10 kings are all just robots.
Yeah. Can you imagine Paroseal sitting up on his dais wearing a ceremonial black robe, making decisions that affect 9 billion people, sitting right next to Geminoid, who's a robot only known for having human hair.
Yeah, well, Ray Kurzweil will be there, so maybe he's the only human in there. But yeah, we've talked about network states. If it's possible that Sophia herself will have her own network state of loyal Sophia-ists, Sophyites, something like that, and have her own sort of digital nation. And maybe that's how the whole end times happens. I don't know.
Oh, you know what? Paroseal could kind of represent the sort of ecological climate change sort of actions from the global governance.
Animals
poor
need
little
a voice.
seal. The ice caps are melting, and we're going to be very sad if we don't have our robotic emotional support seal.
Yeah. Well, hopefully this, they didn't say this at the meeting or when they have the meeting.
I'll keep you warm and safe in my people's zoo.
But it is all AI.
You want to destroy humans?
Okay, I will destroy humans. Okay, I will destroy humans.
Artificial intelligence.
This is from outsourcingpharma.com. And I'm just realizing how old this article is, but maybe there's a newer one because I did see it resurface on another outlet. But first, entirely AI developed drug greenlit for clinical trial. It says here, the rapid turnaround from discovery to clinical trial is part of the reason the industry is excited about the potential for artificial intelligence. Usually the drug development pathway averages 4.5 years to get to the same stage, noted one of the companies involved, Exensia. The drug, so AI developed a drug and it's going from clinical trial to the market very, very quickly. The drug is DSP-1181, which is a long-acting and potent serotonin 5-HT1A receptor agonist, which will enter phase 1 trial in Japan for obsessive-compulsive disorder.
Of course, it's a psychiatric medication.
Of course.
It's for OCD, which is sort of notoriously, I don't know if you know anybody who is diagnosed with true OCD.
I've known people, over the years.
It's a weird one. Yeah. It's a really, you think of OCD people as just, needing to tidy things or to, turn on and off the lights 3 times, or else something horrible will happen. There is a lot more to it that seems quite disturbing.
Yeah. The part that really got me going. The drug candidate was created through the joint research of Japanese pharma companies Sumitomo Dainippon Pharma and Exscientia, with the latter providing the CENTAUR Alchemist AI platform for discovery.
Ooh.
So the thing that created this drug, this AI that created the drug, is called the CENTAUR Alchemist.
Yeah.
Of course, the centaur, the mythological creature, half man, the torso of a man, the legs of a horse body, usually walking around, causing trouble.
Famous chimera.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, famous chimera. But it's also he's also a chemist. So the CENTAUR Alchemist AI
was in the mythology of the centaur. Was he like an alchemist or something? Do you know what his role was?
I don't know. I'm not an expert in the centaur.
Okay. I'm gonna poke around.
I think they were more known to be kind of like scoundrels. They kind of mess with people and that kind of thing. I don't know. Well, anyway, so there you go. Your psychoactive drugs are being created by AI and brought to product much sooner than had before. And that's a good sign because, the world's falling apart and Jesus is going to come back. So everyone's got to go crazy. And looks like AI is going to help us get there. Hey.
Yeah. So 12 months, was that how long it took to create the drug and get it to the point where it can be clinically tested?
Yes. Yeah.
Is that what the article said?
I think so. Let me double check that. Okay.
Gons, that thing is happening again where I'm losing your voice and I'm just sitting in silence. Mm-hmm. It's making me very uncomfortable. I don't know if that's a internet connection thing or if I'm losing your voice. I don't know if other people are losing your voice too. If you're in the chat, let us know if I say something and then it's completely silent while Gons is being censored by Skype or something. Yeah. If that's the case. Hopefully it's just me.
So, under 12 months when usually it takes 4.5 years. So, yes.
Right. Okay. So 12 months only beat out by the COVID vaccine, which only took 7 months.
Right.
So, yeah, this is great. AI being used as at least a justification to speed up the very fragile, very important length of time that it takes to approve other drugs. And, AI bringing us into the future in so many different ways, but bringing pharma companies into the future of instant profits.
Yeah, and plus, when this accelerates, people talk about the singularity, when the curve goes exponential, goes straight up, and we don't know what's going to happen then. What if AI just starts, they put out so many drugs, they don't even, there probably won't be time to go through and make the pill. No, it'll just be like a electrical signal they send to your neural link, and it's just, it's a new thing. Boom. Hey, check it out.
Right.
CENTAUR Alchemist's AI's latest psychotropic thing to help you calm down or whatever it is. So I don't know. It's probably not a good direction, but we are in a new age.
We will launch a new age.
And
this was an interesting article. It's put out by Reuters, so it's gonna be cool. And this is one of those articles that it's not just a news article. They designed. It's an experience, Gons. It's not
an
just
annoying
a news
experience.
This is an experience where you go to the link, and of course, if you're on our newsletter list, you'll have all of the links sent directly to your email box. You've got all of our sources there for this episode. And it's one of these Reuters pages that is kind of like a video game. It controls the speed at which you can scroll, and it's got animations and very dramatic artwork. things like that. So we'll make it through the best we can here. The first few times you try to scroll, it's really annoying. It takes you through this giant grid of American political elite. And it says, among America's political elite, Reuters found that 5 living presidents, 2 Supreme Court justices, 11 governors, and 100 legislators, ... descend from ancestors who enslaved black people. Oh no. I like the politically correct language here, not descended from slave owners, but descend from ancestors who enslaved black people, because you can't say a person is a slave. Slave is no longer a noun, and apparently neither of slave master or something. But it goes like this. Slavery's descendants. America's family secret. More than 100 U.S. leaders and lawmakers, presidents, governors, and justices have slave-holding ancestors, a Reuters examination found. Few are willing to talk about their ties to America's original sin. A chiseled block of sandstone in the U.S. Capitol's Visitor Center serves as a reminder that the home of the nation's Congress was built, in part, by enslaved black people. A bronze plaque says the stone... A bronze plaque says the stone, originally part of the building's exterior, quote, commemorates their important role in building the Capitol. Many lawmakers need to look no further than their own family histories to find a much more personal connection to slavery in America, a brutal system of oppression that resulted in the deadliest conflict in U.S. history. In researching the genealogies of America's political elite, a Reuters examination found that a fifth of the nation's congressmen, living presidents, Supreme Court justices, and governors are direct descendants of ancestors who enslaved black people. Among 536 members of the last sitting Congress, Reuters determined that at least 100 descend from slaveholders. Of that group, more than a quarter of the Senate, 28 members, can trace their families to at least one slaveholder.
Ooh.
That number is actually slightly... You got 128. But we go on. Those lawmakers from the 117th session of Congress are Democrats and Republicans alike. They include some of the most influential politicians in America. Republican Senators Mitch McConnell, Lindsey Graham, Tom Cotton, James Lankford, and Democrats Elizabeth Warren, Tammy Duckworth, poor Lizzie, Jean Shaheen, and Maggie Hassan. In addition, President Joe Biden and every living former U.S. president except Donald Trump are direct descendants of slaveholders. Jimmy Carter.
Innocent. They're coming after me.
You can just tell how much that hurt the author to write down. They go, in addition, President Joe Biden and every living former U.S. president, hyphen, except Donald Trump, hyphen, are direct descendants of slaveholders. This is very emotional. Jimmy Carter, George W. Bush, Bill Clinton, and hyphen, through his white mother's side, hyphen, Barack Obama.
Oh, Barack Obama descends from slaveholders, and Trump doesn't.
Trump's ancestors came to America after slavery was abolished.
Okay,
so
you pointed out
kind
something.
of give him like a, well, he doesn't really count because their family's new here.
Yeah, you had pointed out how it said every living former U.S. president. So what about the dead ones? And I was thinking, we kind of thought about it, and it was like, yeah, the dead ones probably all certainly owned slaves. So
yeah, I would think so. But apparently they didn't think it was important enough to actually do the research.
Well, they probably didn't want to explicitly say every single U.S. president ever except Donald Trump, because that
right
it just
that would
makes it even more dramatic.
That would be giving Donald Trump way too much credit,
yeah.
deserved or not.
So this article is part 1. It goes on and on and on and on and on. And it's
long history.
There is another article about this from the Insider. Did you want to touch on that real quick? Because,
sure. Yeah, I can mention that.
Kind of funny the way they reported it.
Yeah. It's kind of the fun way to explore these articles, because on one hand, they want so badly to, as journalists, bring to light the hidden things of our history and hopefully move the needle toward justice. But they have to admit that Donald Trump didn't own slaves, and that goes against everything they believe in. Insider, this headline, Donald Trump is the only living U.S. president whose ancestors didn't own slaves, report says. So on its face, a very interesting sort of positive headline. It's a short article. It goes in here. Every currently living person who has served as president of the United States is descended from ancestors who owned slaves, except for Donald Trump. That's according to a new investigation from Reuters examining the ancestral history of American lawmakers and presidents. In addition to presidents, the investigation found that 2 Supreme Court justices, 11 governors, and 100 members of Congress were direct descendants of slaveholders. You get it. The thing. They kind of report.
Even Barack Obama, it says. Yep.
They do have the even Barack Obama thing. They didn't go. Now they go through a bullet-pointed list of the presidents. Joe Biden, 1 direct ancestor, 5 generations removed, owned 1 slave.
Only one. It was only just 1. You see, Joe.
It was just 1 slave, so give him some credit. Barack Obama, 1 direct ancestor, 6 generations removed, owned 2 slaves. Barack Obama's family owned more slaves than Joe Biden's. That is maybe even the biggest surprise of this whole thing.
Pretty good.
What probably will not surprise you, George Bush, 1 direct ancestor, 6 generations, owned 25 slaves.
Ooh,
the Bush family.
That's a whole crew.
Bill Clinton. Now listen to the exact words here. Bill Clinton, 1 direct ancestor, 5 generations removed, owned 1 slaves. One slaves. Jimmy Carter.
1 slaves. Yeah, it's kind of okay.
1 slaves.
One of many. One.
Jimmy Carter. I thought Jimmy Carter passed. Did I imagine that?
I don't know. Mandela effect alert.
Oh, yeah, maybe there's a Mandela effect, and Jimmy Carter is still alive. Jimmy Carter, 1 direct ancestor, 4 generations. Oh, pretty recent. Owned 54 slaves. Okay, big operation there.
Oh, yeah, Jimmy Carter, 98 years old. He's
still alive.
Chugging along, yeah.
Does nobody else remember it? Was it a fake whoopsie-daisy?
I think he got sick, went to the hospital or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Weird. The article continues, but Trump stands out among the bunch. Ooh. While other presidents have deep ancestral roots in America, Trump's ancestors did not immigrate to the United States until after slavery was abolished in 1865. So in this way,
they're not American.
Kind of, they're kind of turning
the
fact
American Trump.
That Trump didn't have slaveholders in his ancestry is a
negative.
Is actually something that makes him sort of less qualified.
Look, everybody owns slaves. Even Barack Obama owns slaves. Come on, man.
Yeah.
It's part of American fabric.
They find a great way to take the fact that Donald Trump's family is the only presidential living family that did not own slaves, and they found a way to twist it to make it, again, another bad thing about Trump. It goes on. In fact, none of his grandparents were born in the United States. Trump's paternal grandparents were born in Karlstad, a small town in southwestern Germany.
He's a
and
Nazi.
Immigrated to the U.S. in early 1900s. His mother, Mary, meanwhile, was born in Scotland.
Despicable.
Despite this is where it goes. It turns totally south.
Right.
Despite this, Trump had a long history of defending symbols of the Confederacy. As president, he resisted the renaming of U.S. military bases and had named for Confederate generals, despite the Department of Defense being open to making changes. He also once infamously declared that there were very fine people on both sides of a clash involving white nationalists in Charlottesville. They end it with a lie. It's the both sides lie. And if anybody needs to be reminded of the full quote, he said, there's very fine people on both sides, but not the Nazis. He specifically said, and the mainstream media has run with this lie about the both sides argument, completely editing out the fact he explicitly said, but not the Nazis. Don't like them. And so when it comes to something that is a very interesting historical fact, being every living president, including Barack Obama, is related to slave owners, except for Trump. Not only did they have to take the moment to degrade Trump's family as immigrants. Come on, I thought they were immigrant-loving, good leftists. They're supposed to love the immigrant population, but in this case, it's a scar against Trump's family, making him un-American.
Yeah.
But they had to end it with the ongoing lie of the both fine people on both sides, excluding the part where he said not the Nazis.
Well, look,
and that's a wonderful symptom of where we still are in American journalism.
Well, he doesn't come from slave ownership, so he doesn't understand the severity of the situation, which is why he supports the Confederates, Basil. Come on.
You gotta own slaves to be against slavery.
Right.
That's the American way.
It's the American way. All right. Well, there you go. There's Donald Trump there. And that fun fact after fun fact, huh? The mainstream media, he's going to be indicted. He's going to jail, but he's not a slave owner. I mean, the media is just having a meltdown over this guy, but he does get clicks. So that's all that matters to them. All right. Real quickly here.
Got hairy legs. Got hairy legs. Got hairy legs. Hairy. Got hairy legs. Hairy COVID.
Come on, man. I've ordered more pills than anyone in the world.
Joe Biden. We're going to show a quick clip. Summarizes Joe in a nutshell here. Listen very carefully. There's a lot of noise. There's airplanes, engines, and wind and all kinds of stuff. But here he is.
It's hard to tell, but he's clearly losing the war.
Oh, by the way, he's talking about Putin. So he's asked about Putin. So what's going on with Putin?
It's hard to tell, but he's clearly losing the war in Iraq. He's losing the war at home. And he has become a bit of a fly around the world. It's not just NATO. It's not just the European Union. It's Japan. It's 40 nations.
First of all, it's 2023. Can we get some better microphones in front for these people, for these kinds of reports? I get the jet, but wouldn't your iPhone be better than whatever this was?
I don't know. I've never tried to record around a jet before.
I don't know. Or maybe just don't do things around a jet.
Yeah.
That might be a thing. But yeah, there you go. If you didn't hear, Biden said that Putin is losing the war in Iraq because that's where we are. Back in 1992 or whatever.
Yeah, the gaffes just keep coming. It's wonderful. Yeah. Putin and his war in Iraq.
Yeah. But more pressing here, Joe Biden on his Build Back Better situation.
Build back better. Build back better. Build back better. We will build Babylon better. This time, a new world order.
CNBC mirrored on MSN. Biden announces $42 billion high-speed internet initiative. Dun, 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 dun. Joe Biden's going to give everybody fast internet. President Joe Biden is kicking off a more than $42 billion plan to give every American household access to high-speed internet by 2030. Another UN agenda date. Sustainable Development 2030 agenda, which I think they might change the date once we get closer to 2030 and they're not going to get it. They might be, or they'll bust out another pandemic to make sure that, some of those goals are met. They might push it back to like 2045 or something like that. It always moves. The funds already allotted by Congress through the bipartisan infrastructure law was overseen by the U.S. Department of Commerce are slated to be divvied up over the next 2 years through the Broadband Equity Access and Deployment Program, BEADS. The initiative is the next stage of Biden's push to invest in America ahead of his reelection bid. Quote, let us agree. Let us agree in the 21st century America. High-speed internet is not a luxury. It's a necessity, said Vice President Kamala Harris, speaking at the White House. And then they go on a couple more quotes here. There's going to be a minimum of $107 million per state, with 19 states receiving over $1 billion. Texas is receiving $3.3 billion under the program. So Texas getting that Freemason money, baby. White House officials compared the plan to Franklin D. Roosevelt's effort to bring electricity to rural America in the 1930s. Yes, and it just goes on here. So I did a little digging because I know this has to do with the infrastructure bill and the Broadband Equity Access and Deployment Program. And what I did was I looked into some of that stuff, some of the material firsthand. And the links are all in the description for anybody who wants to do their own digging and research. And so you can go to broadbandusa.ntia.doc.gov. It's the Broadband USA website. It's the National Telecommunications and Information Administration. And one of the things that the infrastructure bill talks about is digital equity. And this website is sort of the portal to all that stuff, and all the states to sign up and whatever. But the article here is Internet for All webinar series, Digital Equity Act program. It's a webinar for these people that want the money, basically. The Digital Equity Program is funding, it promotes digital inclusion and advance equity for all. They aim to ensure that all communities have access to and use affordable, reliable, high-speed internet by providing digital literacy, skill training, equipment, and more. We can help meet people's needs and improve their lives. And I read that and I think, oh, wow, they're building the infrastructure for the metaverse. You cannot have a metaverse without fast internet and a bunch of people having fast internet. And, you think about the timing recently, the Apple Vision Pro, and then also the digital economy, all the stuff happening with BlackRock and Bitcoin and all that stuff. That's all part of what will be flowing through these new veins of the internet. And it says here that the bipartisan infrastructure law provides $65 billion to expand high-speed internet service. So what I want to know is what happened to $23 billion, Joe Biden? How come you're only rolling out $42 billion when there's 65 allocated? Maybe it went to Ukraine.
Yeah, Ukraine. I was going to say.
Ukraine. Zelensky we should take some internet money. Okay, so I also have a link to the actual infrastructure bill for anybody who wants to read it. If you simply do a word search for the word smart, because that's part of this, the smart technology, you will find that the word smart is mentioned 65 times in the document, and it references smart communities, smart manufacturing, smartphones, obviously, smart grants. I like that one. Smart grants, Basil, not just any old grant, but a smart grant. Smart tech, smart grid, smart cities, smart technology. So this entire thing is all about building smart cities, making everything all connected, the Internet of Things, the whole deal. It's all the stuff we've been talking about the Skynet, the blood vessels of Skynet, basically. And so, for anybody who's skeptical about all that technology talk and where it's headed and the dystopia, I mean, this really is the infrastructure bill is building the infrastructure for Ready Player One or the metaverse.
Right.
It's literally like, we're allocating billions of dollars to all the states. And I'm sure the states will use those billions responsibly to make sure everybody has fast speed internet. And I think that might be when they start rolling out certain areas, maybe certain states, maybe.
I'm sure a lot of that is just going to go straight to Elon.
That's possible too. That's what I was saying. Maybe
Yeah. Why would you run wires if you just can give the money to Elon and he flies a couple of his little bugs over there?
This is all part of between that and Neuralink, something more. Hey, if you want access, you got to have a device. Let's just put it in you. Chip in, man. Chip in. So there's Joe, and he was correct. I've said he's right about this all along, and here's what he said about a year and a half ago.
Armageddon's on the way.
And he's bringing it, man.
I wrote the bill. Yeah, he's doing his part.
All right. Let's see. We should take a break, Basil. Thank some people real quick.
Yeah, we've got some people to thank. Let's do that.
Okay.
You know this. Folks, you're listening to this show. You're hearing us pontificate and explore the different avenues that the mainstream media is using to craft the worldview. Not just lie, not just propagandize on behalf of the U.S. government, but craft a worldview that so many people find themselves locked in. Oftentimes, they don't even know what's happening. It's like a jail being built around them. They find themselves trapped. And as C.S. Lewis said, that we'll find out the gates of hell are locked from the inside. People are being trapped in the narratives, the worldviews being built around them. And they could get out at any moment, but they find themselves locked in because they like it there. It feels safe. They feel included.
It's convenient.
But not here, folks. This is an uncomfortable show. It's an uncomfortable show in a lot of reasons, not just the ones that are immediately coming to mind, but also because of the value for value model, which is a paradigm shift in that we are not relying on corporate commie or cartel money to keep the show going. It is uncomfortable when we are faced with the reality that this show can only exist when people who get value from the show put value back in. It truly is sort of an ongoing existential experience for Gons and I. But so far, the producers of this show, that's who you are, the producers have kept the show going, and that's wonderful. And we had some people come in. Remember, you can produce the show with your time, your talent, or your treasure, and you can head to canarycry.support if you want to learn more. And we have some producers who came in to support the show with their finances. I want to thank them real quick. You ready?
Yep, let's do it.
Okay, we already thanked our executive producer for today,
Felicia D.
which was, yes, Felicia D. Thank you so much, Felicia D. But we had a few more people come in, starting with Anonymous. We had an anonymous producer. Yeah, anonymous producer came in, and they would prefer to stay anonymous. They'd prefer to keep their note anonymous, and the amount was anonymous. But I can say that they were inspired to help out when hearing about the babysitting bill here. Yeah. Sometimes, especially, we've gotten this from a lot of people. When it comes to the executive producers, those are people who give $100 or more. And most episodes, we have at least one executive producer. And, people are some people get a little testy about that. They think we're just raking in the dough for no reason. And so now, just keep in mind, the first $120 that we make on every show is going straight to the babysitter. So keep that in mind when you hear the amount that people are sending in. But this anonymous producer came in wanting to help pay for a couple hours of babysitting. We appreciate that very much, producer Anonymous. And Anonymous wanted to try to inspire other people to pitch in to help keep the show going, especially specifically with the babysitting costs. So appreciate that, Anonymous.
Thank you, Anonymous.
We also have producer Jacob B, who's on a 3-episode streak. He's
heating up.
Came in with 11 plus fees. Yeah, thank you, Jacob B. And there's a note here. Aspiring weatherman Jacob B coming at you from the undisclosed location somewhere in the I-35 corridor. It's so hot here, if I was a polar ice cap, I'd be melting too. Not too hot to go out and rattle some cages, though. Cheers. Good. We've got an aspiring weatherman. Yeah. Appreciate it.
Nice.
With all these weathermen leaving their jobs due to fake death threats online, we're going to replace all of these weathermen with Canarians, and the world will change. Thank you very much, Jacob B.
Thank you, Jacob B.
We also had Sir LX Protocol V2 Night of the Berean Protocol comes in with $7.77, 188 episodes in a row.
Ooh, that's a big old streak. 188, you said?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yep.
Thank you, Sir LX Protocol.
That's right. Next up, we've got producer Julie S. came in with an unspecified round number. Thank you very much, Julie S.
Thank you, Julie S.
Next up, we have producer Allison B. Allison B. came in twice. Yeah, came in twice for 1111.
Ooh, twice 1111.
11.
There you go.
Thank you, Allison. And my bad. That was the wrong name. I got that mixed up. This is actually from Progress. Progress, not perfection. Thank you very much.
Okay.
At Progress, not perfection here. I heard Krabby Uncle Gons. I'm here. And was feeling the same way. LOL. Shout out to rookie number 1, number 2, and number 3, and cousin rookie.
Ooh.
All right, we got the team rookie getting shout outs here. What's up, rookie 1, 2, 3, and cousin rookie? We're glad Basil is feeling well. I was super impressed on how Gons handled it. R.I.P. Propaganda Rooster.
Yes. Yeah.
Moment of silence for Propaganda Rooster. Thank you very much. Progress, not perfection.
Yep, thank you.
Then we had producer James M. come in. James M. also left us a pre-show prayer.
That's right.
By going to canarycrynewstalk.com, hitting that green tab on the bottom of the right-hand side, leaving us a 90-second pre-show prayer. We really appreciate that, James M.
Thank you. It was great.
And James M. came in for $7.77 and a note that says, "Love you guys. Thanks for all the hard work."
Hey, thank you very much, James M.
And as of now, that concludes the list of financial producers who came in and helped out financially to keep the show going. We appreciate that. They came in over $7.77, which entitles them to have a note read on the show. We have a group who comes in under $7.77, and there are streakers. We're going to thank them now.
Okay.
Starting with Dame Gale, Canary Whisperer, and Lady of X's Nose.
Thank you, Dame Gale.
277 in a row. Wow. We got Sir Casey the Shield Knight, 315 in a row.
Thank you, Sir Casey.
Yes, Sir Morv, Night of the Burning Chariots, 246 in a row.
Thank you, Sir Morv.
Veronica D, 277 in a row.
Thank you, Veronica D.
Sir Scott, Knight of Truth, 304 in a row.
Yeah, Scott, Knight of Truth, thank you.
Oh yeah, Streakalicious.
Streakalicious indeed. And I think we should just keep going and thank some of our talented talent producers.
Yeah, let's start with some audio producers.
Audio production.
We accept all kinds of producerships here, including your talent. And if you'd like to help build the community behind, or the culture behind the community here at Canary Cry News Talk, consider supporting with your art. We got a lot of people send in audio today, starting off with Modern Day Bible Study. Quick note that says, "Thank you for all you do, Mission Warrior." And I believe Modern Day Bible Study put together a Canary Cry support jingle. So let's listen here.
Woo, that was kind of fun. It was a nice play off of the previous one. I do appreciate putting canarycrynewstalk.com/support, because that is the more correct link as far as the technical link. It wasn't quite canarycry.support.
Yeah.
But I do appreciate it. Maybe we can give one a try with canarycry.support as well.
Yeah.
But thank you very much.
Yeah, Modern Day Bible Study. Appreciate it. Okay.
A few more.
Yeah, I got a few more here. We got something from Jonathan F., a couple of them. First one here, Brandon.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I thought Modern Day Bible Study sent in a few more.
Oh, I only saw one. Maybe there was more.
Oh, okay. Continue.
Okay. If there was more, we'll cover it next episode. Jonathan F. here.
Hey.
By the way, Jonathan F.
Jonathan F.
First one here, he says, just Brandon admitting nonchalantly he sold out the U.S.
I was just thanking, anyway, I started off without you. And I'd sold a lot of state secrets and a lot of very important things to share.
He's just leaking, dude. He's leaking
Yeah.
the truth. He just can't hold it in anymore. It's so funny.
In case somebody missed it, that is Joe Biden saying that he's sold so many state secrets.
He says he's joking after that, but only because he probably realized that it's just falling out of his mouth. Words he should not say.
The truth wants to come out.
Yeah. Jonathan F. also gave us this, hello, thought I'd throw my hat into the necro-capitalism jingle ring. Here it is. Sounds like a Transformers necro-capital. I'll play it again here. It kind of hits you fast. You got to know it's coming. Necro-capitalism.
That's good. I got it the second time. It's a good opportunity for a tip for the jingle makers. It's just kind of part of creating something. When you're listening to it while you're producing it, it always sounds clearer because you know what's in there. It's always good to boost those vocals. Oh man, just boost them as high as you possibly can.
I know,
because somebody who doesn't see it coming, that's just humans, man. They really need it spelled out for them. So boost those vox a little bit.
Yeah.
But I like that. I like that a lot.
Cool. Thank you.
Because that is how necro-capitalism sort of is able to function, is its robotic nature.
Right.
It's a machine.
A zombie robot. Yeah.
It's not some sort of hateful murderer.
Right.
It is a machine, an unfeeling machine that can benefit off of the death of others.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Jonathan F. And we'll move on to Jones here. Jones answered a call that somebody had made. So this is actually a answer to a producer, a call for a producer made by a producer. So a producer's answering the call of a producer. I'll just play it. Team Regulators! Actually, I was hoping somebody in the chat remembers where the regulator story came from. I completely forgot, and I didn't have time to really stir up my memory. But I do recall doing that, and then I remember a producer coming in and saying somebody needs to take that clip of me saying that and turning it into the real thing, and boom, Jones did it. So thank you very much, Jones.
And now we got it. Thank you very much, Jones.
Yeah. If somebody, again, in the chat, let us know what story it was, because I don't remember. Last but not least, we got Lil Owen. We already played it, but it's the T-shirt jingle, or T-shirt council jingle.
Canary Cry, T-shirt council.
Love it. Love it.
Vibes.
Does Lil Owen just walk around? Does he just sound like that all the time? Like if you just have a conversation with him, if you walk up to him, does he just have his like, dun, 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 that like vibe and the voice?
I think that's just how he talks. Yeah, appreciate that, Lil Owen.
Yeah,
way more vibey and nice than the random chopped air horn that we've been using.
Yes, much better. Yep. All right, let's do one piece of art.
One art, please.
Literally one from Sir Dove.
One art piece from Dove.
And Sir Dove has a note. Piece for today's artwork. I made a potential supply drop sticker design after the article you guys read about the valets at the Bohemian Grove or Bohemian Club, and how the article kept referring to the elite retreat as a summer camp. Hope you guys like it. Keep doing what you do, and I'll keep praying for you.
This is very good. This will definitely make it in the sticker pile. Thank you very much, Sir Dove. This fun design.
So good.
It's designed to look like an actual like flyer or logo for a summer camp. Very fun, very colorful,
bubbly,
bubbly, big sun at the top, water droplets, like it's a water park type of thing coming off of everything. And up at the top it says Bohemian Club Summer Camp. And you've got the Bohemian Club owl, stylized, very angular, and he's wearing a Hawaiian shirt because he's at summer camp. Of course, the Hawaiian shirt has the Baphomet, derpy-eyed Baphomet heads and the flowers. We've got, I just noticed, there's a fire, like a campfire.
You just noticed the fire? That's the best part.
Well, I noticed the fire. What I just noticed now was that it's not logs in the fire. No. It is human effigies in the fire, keeping the campfire going. That's very good detail, Sir Dove. Man. On the right-hand side, we've got a tent pitched, sort of a classic teepee-style tent with a sign on the outside. Is that no spiders allowed? What do we got in there?
Mm-hmm. You don't know about this?
I'm zooming in.
No, it is a spider.
It's knitting. It's got a knitting setup.
Let me get the. I did not remember. Weaving spiders come not here. That's what the sign says.
Right. That's what it is. Yeah. Weaving spiders come not here. Sir Dove is some sort of genius.
He is.
It's
this
really
is genius work right here, and you have to kind of know the references to know it, but they're in there. You know, this is great.
Right.
I hope more people recognize Dove's art just outside of the show. You know, people need to recognize
and
this stuff.
Course,
it's really good.
He has the link there, http://canarycry.party, so people can find the show. Just one note, Sir Dove, we did get our HTTPS going, so you can start putting HTTPS if you'd like. But yeah, brilliant work. Thank you very much, Sir Dove.
Thank you, Sir Dove.
Supply droppers out there, this is the kind of thing you can expect to arrive in your supply drop. We always throw in cool sticker designs and stuff. Just for free. It's your free gift for being a part of the Canary Cry Supply Drop. Go to canarycrysupply.com to start receiving all these cool gifts.
Yep. One more thing here. We got a microfiction.
Microfiction.
And it is from Stephen S.
From the CEO's office of GNN. Boss, the media released a 15,000-word hit piece on you. Any news is good news, he replied. I want to know why my editors didn't publish it first. Oh, GNN.
This is in reference to the Atlantic article that crushed Chris Lick's career at CNN.
Yeah, the Atlantic article that actually ended Chris Lick, the CEO of CNN.
Former CEO.
That's right. Yeah, really intense.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much to all of our producers. If you want to produce, help us pay for the babysitters and everything else that go along with keeping this show alive, you can go to canarycry.support. If you want to send in any of your art or music to the show, you can go to canarycry.art. And if you'd like to send us an article to consider for the show, go to canarycry.report. All easy links. You can find all of those at canarycry.party if you don't want to remember all those links as well. Thank you very much to everybody making this show possible.
Value for value. We take no money from corporations, commies, or cartels.
We're taking things that are genetically modified organisms and we're injecting them in little kids' arms. We just shoot them right into the vein, right into the vein, right into the vein.
Vaccines. A lot of Bill Gates. Real quick here because 5 minutes.
Got to go home.
Yeah, babysitter's leaving. I got some things I got to do. CNN Health. Are the U.S. malaria cases in Florida and Texas a cause for concern? Our medical analysts weigh in. Okay, so malaria cases on the rise in Florida and Texas, huh? The U.S. Center for Disease Control and Prevention issued an alert this week to clinicians that there are locally acquired cases of malaria in Florida and Texas, with 4 cases identified in Florida and 1 in Texas over the past 2 months. While thousands of Americans become sickened by malaria every year, the vast majority of cases are acquired outside of the U.S. These cases represent the first time that malaria has been transmitted within the U.S. in 20 years, according to the CDC. Now, Basil, the internet community at large immediately remembered some things. And then, by the way, this article goes into interviewing Dr. Leanna Wen, notorious liar.
Yeah.
The entire time during the pandemic, she was just complete
possibly
lies.
The biggest liar of the pandemic.
Oh, it's horrible.
Leanna Wen, who then, to her credit, was one of the only reporters to come out and reverse her opinions on some pandemic-related stuff, only after it was she was given permission by her mainstream overlords.
Right.
But still.
But the point here is that the CDC is saying this is the first time malaria has been transmitted within the U.S. in 20 years. And what could be the cause? I don't know. Maybe a guy named Bill Gates. Because back in 2017, CNBC had this headline under leadership. Great leadership. Bill Gates once released a swarm of mosquitoes on a crowd to make a point about malaria. What?
Yep.
Did you know about this? Of course we knew about it, but I mean, really? So
his mosquitoes, specifically, were genetically modified mosquitoes.
Yeah.
Wasn't it to deliver a malaria vaccination?
I don't recall the specifics, to be 100% honest. I thought the idea was to try to curb the population of mosquitoes, right, so that they don't spread the potential whatever. But whatever.
So there was let's see here, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Bill Gates announced today Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation will provide $168 million to PATH for its malaria vaccine. There's a lot of and there was another one. Yeah, so he's been working on the malaria vaccine thing for quite some time. And in this article that you note, let's see here.
Which one? The CNBC? Because there's also a Politico.
Bill Gates once released a swarm of mosquitoes on a crowd to make a point about malaria. Yeah, right. He released a swarm of mosquitoes on an unsuspecting audience at a TED conference. Quote, "There's no reason only poor people should have the experience," the billionaire said, before adding that the mosquitoes were not infectious. Gates was making the compelling point that even if an issue like malaria doesn't directly affect you, you should still care. At that time, he noted, more money had been invested into researching hair loss drugs because when it comes to baldness, rich men are afflicted. Malaria, meanwhile, is present mostly in poor tropical areas of the world where it can be devastating. With this memorable demonstration, Gates won over his listeners by using a number of effective presentation tactics. Ooh! Mind control tactics, including a visual aid, a direct interaction with the audience, and even humor, it said. Oh, that's great. So it's more of a report on his stunt talents as a
PR
public speaker.
Well, this is back in 2017, so he didn't have all the pandemic hate on him yet. But also,
this was related to his progress in their fight against malaria.
Right. And so let's move to 2022. This is Politico. And this headline, how the Gates Foundation plans to beat malaria without the vaccine.
Okay.
Yeah. Development of the world's first malaria vaccine was a historic milestone. And since 2001, Bill and Melinda Gates has donated more than $200 million to be used for testing, citing the shot's low efficacy, short-term immunity, high price, limited supply. The Gates Foundation decided not to support the vaccine rollout directly. Instead, it supports the decision by Gavi, which funds vaccine procurement for developing countries. Yeah, it's pretty boring. I mean, it's just, they're funding stuff for malaria, which, it's kind of like I don't think they're using mosquitoes specifically to deliver these vaccines.
Okay.
This Political article is not saying that, but maybe.
Well, we do have here 2021 Bill Gates releasing genetically modified mosquitoes.
Yeah, we knew about those. So
Florida specifically,
right?
Was it not?
So the play here, the picture here is Bill Gates releases mosquitoes, genetically modified mosquitoes into the population, also fighting malaria. Maybe the two are related, maybe they aren't. I don't know. But then they also, again, they're funding the vaccines for malaria, which means that, problem, reaction, solution. You unleash the problem, Hey, come back here. I got the solution. You know, it's very straightforward in that way. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. So this was one of the abstracts, or this is actually looks like it's coming from Snopes here. There was a Snopes write-up on it. And it says here, in April 2021, it was announced that approximately 150,000 mosquitoes would be released across 6 locations in Florida. For those who need reminding, mosquitoes are the bugs that spread, malaria. Several state and federal agencies have been involved in the approval of this project, a multi-year research project to genetically modify Aedes aegypti, a mosquito species that is known to carry and transmit infectious diseases to humans, was slated to move from the lab to the fields of Texas and Florida in mid-2021. So it's like a year after they actually released the mosquitoes. They have the first. The mosquitoes were supposed to reduce malaria, and they released the mosquitoes, and a year later, there's the first counts of malaria in 20 years. Oops. Under the project, thousands of A. aegypti were altered to make their reproduction more difficult, thus slowing and eventually preventing the spread of mosquito-borne illnesses like Zika and dengue fever. But when the internet caught wind that Bill Gates may have been behind the project, posts circulated on social media. Yeah, of course they did. My goodness. Yeah, great connection there, Bill.
Billions.
Another successful project by Bill Gates.
The man has so much influence. It's very scary.
We should make a trophy, like a Stanley Cup. And the Stanley Cup,
one for every achievement that he's made.
Put everybody's name on it, and the base keeps growing to fit more names.
It's true. If we have
a Stanley Cup and put all of Bill Gates's very successful depopulation experiments on there.
Well, every character in the New World Order Fantasy League can have attributes of that, and we can constantly update those attributes.
Yeah.
Maybe that can.
You know what? Mm-hmm. We're good with this, right? We can.
Yeah, we're done.
So there was mention of the New World Order Fantasy League thing. And what the progress on that was. And I've said previously that I was having to kind of code it myself because nobody's volunteered to help code it, and trying to learn this. And it's very difficult.
Are you using AI maybe?
Then I went to the hospital.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Okay. And so there wasn't any progress. But I was thinking, now that AI can actually do the coding just with instructions, I might be forced to have AI do the coding on the New World Order Fantasy League. And one of the biggest problems with the Fantasy League is aggregating the points through the vast, amount of news sources that are coming out. Yeah. And I think AI could do that too. So AI might be the one thing that could actually make the New World Order Fantasy League actually happen. So unless a human coder steps up to help me do that, we might need to get AI involved.
All right.
Gotta go.
I'm out of time. Yeah.
Okay, everybody. Thanks for listening to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. Thank you to all the producers who make it happen, whether it's with your treasure, whether it's with your talent, or in this case, I'll just do it by groups again, your time. Hey. And we've got producers who help out with their time, the back end processes. There's a lot more to keeping this thing running than just Gons and I puttering around yelling on the internet. And I want to thank the Clippies for their honorable work. Clippy on those videos. Thanks. Right, they're managing the Canary Cry Clips channel on YouTube and Odyssey, making sure the episodes get clipped out and easily accessible. Thank you, Clippies. And that wouldn't be possible if it weren't for the timestampers.
Timestamp, it's hard work. Timestamp.
Right, timestampers timestamp the show every episode. Some of the most hardworking people I know, Jade Bouncerson and Morgan E. doing episode 638. Thank you very much.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you to Jam for the links. Thank you to everybody who sent in reports at CanaryCry.report. Thank you to Clank for the reminders. And other than that, folks, just share the show. Oh, and review the show. Go leave a rating and a review on Apple Podcasts. It helps us out a whole bunch. I saw some recent ratings and reviews, and we haven't read much recently, so we'll read some on Friday. And if you haven't left a review, go leave a review. It helps us out more than you could possibly know. And while you're at it, just tell your friends. Tell your friends about the show. Tell your mom, dad about the show. They want to know about it so badly. You might be afraid that they think that you're crazy, but don't worry. The time is now. They want to listen to the show. And you can just do that a normal way, put the show in a box and send it through UPS or something. Or you can find a more creative way to spread the show. There's lots of ways to spread the show, more than one way to skin a cat. And in this case, what you should do is go outside, catch as many mosquitoes as you possibly can, probably about 150 million mosquitoes. Put them all in a little box and put some headphones in that box or on the outside of the box and just play the podcast to the mosquitoes. We do not need to genetically engineer the mosquitoes, but we do need to wake them up. That's right, folks. We need to go out. We need to wake up every single mosquito to the fact that the mainstream media does not have their best interests in mind and, in fact, are lying, straight up lying to them on behalf of the governments of the world in order to keep you trapped in a little box of the worldview that they find most useful for controlling your behavior for the benefit of the powerful elites of the world. Not to mention the spiritual aspect of oppression that the mainstream apparatus has over the minds and the hearts of the public as a whole. But these mosquitoes, that could be the end of it. We can inoculate everyone against the poison that is the mainstream media and their lies. All we got to do is play the show to the mosquitoes, bring the mosquitoes out into the wild, release them, release the box, open the box, let them fly. And when people say, what are you doing? Some sort of evil scientists letting mosquitoes fly out into the world, that's opposite. You say, no, these are my friends. These are my children, my beautiful mosquitoes. Let them bite. They will help you. There's no reason that the only people who can benefit from the show are Canarians. Indeed, we must spread the show from person to person via venomous mosquito bite. That's just one way to do it. You don't got to do it that way. You can do it any way you want. We call it rattling cages. If you need any more instructions, here's what you do. You walk right up to them, grab them by the cage, and then you shake it.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
The human race will have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
That's right. Just ask Noah. Guns, any last words?
We'll see you Friday. Stay scientifically volatile.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. Go ahead and do it. Go leave those reviews. We appreciate it. You can be like Tinkerman in the chat. He says this is the greatest show on earth. Thank you, Gons Basil.
Thank you.
Welcome. That includes the metaverse, but also the meat world. Thank you very much, Tinkerman. All right, everybody. Have a wonderful couple days. We'll see you on Friday. Thanks for listening to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. Make sure to tune in next time. But till then, think outside the cave.
We're all gonna die.
They love killing.
It will kill.
This is the United States of America, for God's sake.
They love killing.
Feed him more. Toilets. Armageddon's on the way.
I love the Great Reset.
Give me a break.
I'll keep you warm and safe in my people's zoo.
Give me a break.
This is the way.
Remember, reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Buy gold. Buy!
When the news of the day gets to feeling like a maze, it's okay, don't be afraid if you don't know what to say. Canary, cry waits. When your brain's in a haze on a headline days, come on ahead my way, I can help you out the cage. Canary, cry waits. Canary, cry waits. Oh, canary, cry waits. Oh, the world's changing every day, each and every way you turn, there's another thing to learn. Reading in between the lines, thanking Jesus for our lives, and nice to see His glory shining like the sun. Run the race until it's done. Come on, everyone. Canary, cry waits. Oh, canary, cry waits. When your brain's in a haze and a headline days, come on ahead my way, I can help you out the cage. Canary, cry away.
Bye. I'm out of here. Bye.
Canary cry, that's support.